Hey, listen, I've been asked to start a podcast or, a YouTube channel or whatever. And I really don't know where I can fit anything more in my life. And then I was trying to ask, the content, doing surveys and stuff. Okay, what would people want to know about? Free therapy or whatever. And I thought about it with the stuff that go on in my life. I can't make this stuff up. So I guess I'm going to try to start one with this. They're driving crazy. I'm going to try to start one with this, I guess we're going to start talking about soul ties or something like that, because like I say again, I can't make this stuff up. Many people know that I'm a therapist, but a lot of people don't know that I'm more so a social worker. I like getting in the trenches with people and trying to help people out. I can't sit there and talk to you if your stomach is growling. If talking to you ain't gonna get your roof over your head and all that kind of stuff. So I was helping an individual out. Come to find out, it was his family, the whole, his family, intermediate family, and a friend or whatever. The weekend come, there's no hotels, or whatever. So granted, an 8-month-old child is involved. I can't just throw a child in the street. So I said, okay, I guess we're going to hang out for the weekend. And then I will try to get a room or whatever. But it bothered me in my conscience about getting a room, because this individual, the way they were acting and they were manipulative, I didn't feel comfortable with that, because had I got a room and they would have acted out and put holes in the wall, that would have been on my name. So, like I said, I did what I could to, keep the baby safe. Basically it's for the baby or whatever. And try to teach the grown-ups, something so that they can't get themselves back in the same situation. So, there are some people in life that I think they are entitled, that think that they supposed to get because they play the victim. Because they the victim, they want you to be, they deserve that you do everything for them. They're just entitled because woe is me. The Eeyore or whatever. But Eeyore happened to be my favorite character for those of y'all that know me. But it's my favorite character because I have a heart that wants to help people. But at the same time, you got to realize somebody don't want help. Everybody don't want help. So you can't help nobody that ain't trying to help themselves. So this is what we get to. There are victims that like being victims. This individual, after laying on my furniture, trying to keep a roof over their head, and, eating my food and all of this because they didn't ask for it or whatever, I guess I'm supposed to give it. I didn't need this and I didn't need that. Want to call me out of my name, set it in my front room or whatever. But because they're used to doing that to females, and the females that they choose are so low self-esteem that they dummy down and just deal with it or whatever, he thought he could do that to me. So, he messed around there and called me out my name. He said, "You bitch ass nigga, shut up." In my house. I'm going to let that marinate for a minute. In my house. And he's used to doing that to the females or whatever. So, I got up from my seat and I went over there directly to his face, and he was shocked. I said, number one, I'm your elder. I'm over double your age. And number two, you don't get to stand in my house after you done ate my food and laid around on my furniture being disrespectful, because I offered him a bed to lay across whatever before he had to go to work, but he want to lay where he can hear everything and can't nobody else sit down. So my family came in and everything. They didn't know where to sit because he want to take up room on the couch because he want to be able to hear everything that's going on. So I gave him something to hear. I put on Pastor Mike Jr. I put on all kind of, stuff to build up them girls' self-esteem. I put on everything that was against what he was doing, teaching them that what he was doing wasn't right. And he didn't like it. He sat there and listened to all of that. I know, because when I went into the kitchen, acting like he's sleeping, he want to sit there and play on his cell phone. One of them type of Negroes. He was them type of Negroes that want to call me a bitch ass nigga. I know, y'all think I gotta repent after this. No, I'm trying to show you what's in me. So sometimes, even in the word, it says that Jesus he did as they did when he was in the synagogue. Sometimes you gotta speak the language that the population speak in order to get a message to them. But that ain't mean I'm coming out of my character. That don't mean that's who I am. I can't go to Japan speaking English because they not gonna understand me. But anyway, like I said, I stood up in his face. And he looked at me like something was wrong with me. Because I'm a female standing up to him. I say, Negro, that don't work here. Not with this female. I say, I'm not one of them. I say, you standing in my house. I bought my own Cadillac. You don't pay nothing here. Right here, I'm taking care of you. So if I'm all of that, I can be all of that, and you can be on the other side of that door. That's what you can do. You gotta ladies, you gotta get in a position where you're not dependent on no man. Only person you're supposed to depend on is God. That's it. Yeah, that's why I look like a hot mess. I'm all tired and sleepy because I've been trying to help people over the weekend. I gave up my weekend to help some stay off the hot concrete, to save, an 8-month-old baby, an innocent life. You don't put an 8-month-old baby, but my understanding is the mother that threw them out of her house just couldn't take it no more because this individual was over the top. I found out all the lies that this individual, somebody did this to me, did that to me, come to find out he did it himself. You know the ones that want to talk about somebody punched them or bruised them or whatever, but they the one knocking their own self upside the wall, or they breaking something, but woe is me. Playing the victim, trying to be, they need help. And they, using kids as pawns. They don't want to take the child. They don't want to take care of the child. They don't want to be on child support or whatever. But anytime they need to get something because they know they're not going to do nothing or turn no child away, he want to get the baby mama and get the child and to say, so he can get a spot in a corner or whatever, so that he can use the child as a pawn or whatever. But like I say, I know how to diffuse all of that. Because what I'll do is put the truth out there. And when the truth is out there, he ain't getting nothing. Like I said, you don't stand up in my house and disrespect me in my house. And what I did that for was, now those young ladies are looking different. Those young ladies are seeing that he don't treat me the way he treats them. Because he had to dumb me down a step. There's one that is getting her stuff together. The other one got that soul tie. That heartstring or whatever, because they got a baby together. But when you got to make a choice. See, right now I'm going to put a conscious interrupt in stuff. Either you're going to choose the baby and you, or you're going to choose him, because I'm not going to sit there and keep giving resources into that situation. And it's not helping you. All it's doing is going out helping him, and it's keeping you in the same situation. I'm not going to enable you to be in the situation that you're in. So, until this individual apologized to me, I really don't have to do nothing for him or whatever. And like I said, I'm not even waiting for an apology for forgiveness. Forgiveness ain't for him, it's for me. I've already forgiven. The words say forgive quickly, because it's my soul that's at stake. I've already forgiven. Matter of fact, I already showed proof of it when he went down there and did all that he could, because he didn't stand up and be mature enough to go and do what he's supposed to do to keep his medical going, to where he could keep all his mental services going, to where they told him that he didn't qualify no more for whatever reason. I told him what to do. to go and get so that he could qualify. Even after he disrespected me. The one that you put your foot on, the one that you put the knee on your neck, the one that you disrespect, maybe the one that you need to help you. See, I'm a bigger person than that. I don't have to sit there and be all up in my feelings and not forgive and throw stuff up in people's face all day, calling me a bitch ass nigga when he the one acting like one. Sitting up there throwing up in this girl's face all her faults and what she don't know how to do instead of teaching her. And then at the same time, he got her to a place where she could learn, and then the fact gonna fault her for doing what he wanted her to do. She's learning everything that she needs to do so she don't have to be a burden. She don't have to be in his pocket and all of that. See how the enemy turns stuff around? There are people that just want to lay up on you. And because you get the help that you need and you stop pulling on them some more, then all of a sudden they got a problem with you. Now, he taking her out of my environment because he know he no longer welcome in my environment, and he's taking her off somewhere so maybe he can get an environment where him and her and the baby can be together, and left the best friend out there showing his true colors now. So if she want to stay with that, that's her. You know, everybody got free will. You can't make nobody get help that don't want help, and you can't help nobody that don't want to help themselves. So this other young lady, we getting some other stuff together, getting her on her feet. I met her father and everything, and it probably blew up a whole bunch more, you know, with my agency, because he's connected to a lot of people that need services too. So you got to discern the spirit. You got to discern who God put in your life to help and who you just supposed to let be. Like I said, Mel Robbins, who wrote that book, The Let Them Theory, she even said in there that, you know, everybody act like 8-year-olds when they don't get their way. And that's what he's doing, is acting like an 8-year-old. He ain't getting his way. You know, I was able to help him to get what he got so far, but all of a sudden, because he ain't getting his way with me, and he disrespect me, and I'm not going to dummy down in my house, all of a sudden he got a problem with me. And now he don't have everything he needs to continue getting services, so now he out there or whatever. Don't do disrespect. Don't let nobody just tear you down. They see your low self-esteem, they want to sit there and pick on you. Get up every morning and listen to something positive. Listen to something that's going to edify your spirit. Personal development. Every single morning, feed yourself something, because you can't feed nobody out of an empty cup. Like I said again, that young lady, if she want to stay with him and keep being up there bickering, and he playing the victim and using her and that baby as a pawn to keep a roof over his head because he not man enough to do it, he can't do it. I'm not going to come out of character. Let's just say that. He being the bitch ass nigga that he called me to be, that's on her. But what she not going to do is disrespect my house and have me help her, and while she keep running back to him. So I'm not going to enable that situation. But that's what I'm saying. I guess I'm going to start a podcast with all the stuff that go on in my life. You know, I got a YouTube channel, but they talk about, no, we need to hear stuff in everyday life, how you be handling everyday life. So I guess this is number one in a long time, because I got some videos on here from before, and like I say, I'm trying to make time for it, but I'm driving down the street on my way home now to cook food for my kids and everything. If I'm a single mom and can raise 3 children to supervisor status and get an education and take care of myself, why can't that individual? Something to think about. Especially the one that's calling me out of my name. He didn't think I had it in me. You don't know my story. You don't know where I came from. Just because I came from it don't mean I can't go back to it. Yeah, I remember where I come from. Sometimes I have to step back to it to show some people some stuff. One thing you're not going to do is disrespect me in my house and live in my house. You're just not going to do it. That's probably why I ain't got no man now, because I'm not going to sit up and put up with disrespect. I ain't going to put up with no man that's going to sit up there and dictate to me what I can and can't do, and I'm made in the image of God just like him. We supposed to work together. And if you're not man enough or mature enough to work together with me, you can't be working with me at all. You can't roll with me or whatever. I can't. To me, playing the victim, that's so wimpy to me. Talking about a bitch ass nigga. To me, look like he got bitch tendencies. Look like he the one acting like that. Bitch is a female dog. Maybe his estrogen is taking over drive to where he got to live off of a woman. I can't stand men that ask women for money when they're supposed to be the provider. Now, that don't mean that women ain't supposed to provide and they not supposed to, take care of themselves. That don't mean women supposed to be a burden on a man. That mean women supposed to educate themselves too and be able to keep the fort down. That is what that means. But I'm just saying, that don't mean that the man is just not, he's supposed to take care of everything and she ain't supposed to do nothing. Yeah, she's supposed to take care of the family, but when she ain't raising no children, she's supposed to be able to take care of herself, hold the fort down. Because what if that man gets sick? What if that man has to get dumped down? What if something happened to that man? Then she can't do nothing for herself. You see that in the Bible all the time, where the man was always go out there and then something happened to him, and then she's sitting around like Elijah or whatever, had to come and help a woman because, she couldn't pay her bills and stuff. All them stories in the Bible, whether you believe in the Bible or not, there's stories in the Bible that show real what things happen. Women who cannot take care of themselves and depend on a man to take care of them, when the man is gone or something happened to the man, that's their fault. Because they should have done something to educate themselves to be able to take care of themselves. God did not make nobody an invalid. Now, there are times you live and you lose your limbs or whatever that affects, or you can't do some things, but God always sent us out by twos. Even the book of Genesis, he said that we should not live alone. Because there are some times in your life that you're going to need community, as Pastor Mike said. You're going to need people to help you. You're going to need people in your corner to do what you can't do. You're going to need people to help promote you, to level you up. No man is an island. I didn't get where I am by myself. In a whole internship, that's a community of people. So any woman that's laying around by herself and can't do nothing for herself is not the man's fault. It's her fault. The pandemic done even made it where we can work from home. It is not the man's job to take care of a woman just because to take care of a woman. It's his job to provide because he's supposed to be show that he like the priest of the home. But what I'm saying, he trying to keep that girl down so that he can feel up, because he ain't got nothing. He ain't got no education. He think he know everything, and he don't. So embarrassing, to where he gonna make moves to run around, take the baby one somewhere. So one time, didn't have nothing. No diapers, no Pampers, no milk, no formula, no nothing. And then want to sit up there and call the female to bring this stuff because he's trying to get her out. But see, the buses didn't stop running. And after you disrespect me, he wasn't going to ask me for nothing. So I said, am I going to have to be a mandated reporter? He got what he needed. God provided for that child. But he know he messed up. That was stupid. When you operate impulsively out of your emotions, but you're supposed to be the big dog. You're supposed to know what you're doing. You're supposed to know it all. You just living off of women. My question is, who is the bitch ass nigga? So like I say, I'm gonna get off of here because I'm almost at home. Don't let nobody talk to you or talk down to you and they ain't got nothing they self. They talking down to you just to make them feel like they up. When she realize that he's just manipulating her, using her for the baby, maybe she'll get herself together. He sat there and told her in her face that he didn't want her. She can do whatever she want to do. All he wants is his child, because that's all he need is a pawn. He didn't want to be on child support. How trifling is that? And like I say, she was shocked because he don't get to do that in my face no more. Like I said, I've already forgiven. I don't need to wait for him to find closure. For those women that need to find closure, I've already forgiven. That frees me to do what I need to do. But don't let no person that's down, ain't got nothing, try to talk you down. That's a trick of the enemy. The enemy come to promote you. When she gets tired of being manipulated by this individual, she gonna walk away from him and begin to be the queen that she's supposed to be. But as long as she with him, she carrying dead weight, because he can't even get his own self together. So he can't be a provider for nothing. Anyway, until the next one, y'all stay blessed.